College Football 25 has officially been out for a week, so let's go over my top 5 hardest teams to rebuild in the game. Obviously, there's a bunch of hard teams to rebuild. You know, a lot of 1-star, 2-star programs, some programs that's just in bad locations. So I just went through my top 5. You know, feel free to mention in the comments what team you believe should belong on the list as well. And listen, we open for discussion, man. Let's talk about it. If y'all like this style of content, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. We dropping videos every single day, and we got a Temple rebuild going strong, man. Go Owls. Number 5 school on my list, Vanderbilt, man. Vanderbilt is an interesting program, man. They're located in the SEC. They're in Tennessee. Nashville is the city that they're in. And they haven't had a winning season back since 2013 when James Franklin was their head coach. James Franklin is currently the head coach at Penn State, for anyone that didn't know. And, you know, he even couldn't really turn the program around. He eventually had to leave and go to another school to, you know, do what he wanted to do in college football. But this is a program that has been the bottom of the SEC for a long time. And the reason that this program will be difficult to rebuild because you're going to have such a tough time getting winning seasons in the SEC, man. You're just going to have a tough time winning games in the SEC as one of the bottom schools. If you was in another conference, I don't think this rebuild would be that difficult. But like pulling a solid record every year with Vanderbilt as your roster, it will take very long to get that roster in a good spot to actually, you know, beat the Alabamas and, you know, the Georgias, the LSU consistently. So yeah, definitely would just take a long time. But let's take a look at their roster, and then so let's look here, man. Over the past 20 seasons, let's count how many winning seasons they have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got to scroll for a little bit. 4 winning seasons over the past 20 years, man. That is insane. Let's take just a quick look at their roster, man. So they are a 2.5-star program, so that will play in your favor. Your highest overall player is 89, which is not terrible, you know, which is very solid. But like I said, to compete in the SEC, you need an elite roster. And just let's first look at the quarterback room. Elite speed in the quarterback room. Nate Johnson. You'll have some fun with him, but you know, I don't think you'll win many games just with this roster. And let's continue to look through, man. You'll see we got some sophomores in the running back room. Nothing too crazy, solid overalls, but outside your top guy, you know, you need to bring in some recruits. Wide receivers, got some young guys, got some speed, but just not high overalls at all. Tight end room, some older guys, juniors, 75 overall, your top guy. O-line, senior, 75 overall left tackle, not ideal. Junior, you don't have 180 on the O-line. You're looking at starting the 72 overall senior at, you know, at right guard. No offense to, you know, Gage in real life, but, you know, the roster is just not super talented when you compare it to other SEC teams. And continue looking through the roster. You have 2 seniors and 2 juniors in your left end room. And then you look at your right end room, you also have 2 seniors and a junior, and then finally a freshman. So yeah, you'll definitely struggle to turn this roster around, and you'll also struggle to win games. You're looking at a 62 overall as your starting left outside linebacker, man. That is not ideal at all, man. Not ideal at all. Cornerbacks, you have 30 cornerbacks in your room, but yeah, just not an easy rebuild, man. Not an easy rebuild, especially when you factor in the conference you in. But on to the next one. Next, let's move to Conference USA and talk about UTEP, man. This is a team that has struggled in their school history, man. In their 86 seasons, their record is 344 wins, 181 losses. Not great. Certainly not great, man. Their record is just all time is not great. In bowl games, they are 5-10. And you're looking at 2017, 0-12 season, 2018, 1-11, 2019, 1-11 again. They did have a winning season in 2021 during COVID, but just not ideal, man. You're looking at a 2.5-star program, 74 overall, and you're located in Texas, man. But the issue is you are probably the smallest FBS school in Texas. So it's a lot of recruits in the area, a lot of top talent, but will they want to go to the smallest program, you know, in the FBS in the state? Maybe you could convince them, but definitely will be a tough rebuild. Let's look at their roster. Let's count how many winning seasons they have over the past 18, 19 years. 1, 2, 3. So 3 winning seasons. Let me just double check. Yes, 3 winning seasons, certainly not ideal. Your goal is to win 4 games your first year, and you'll be praised in Texas with UTEP. So definitely will be a tough rebuild. Let's look at their roster. All right, so let's look at their roster, man. You're looking at a 74 overall team with a 75 overall offense. Your highest rated player is an 86 overall senior, which is crazy. You have 180 overall, man. 180 overall. Quarterback room doesn't look too bad when you consider your starting quarterback is a redshirt sophomore, and he might reach the 80s overall, 80 overall around there by his senior year. Running back room, nothing too crazy there. Just nowhere on the roster will stick out. Wide receiver room is brutal, man. Wide receiver room is really brutal. Your highest overall is a 73. You'll have a 66 getting playing time for you, man. 65 overalls getting playing time. And maybe even people in the 50s, suiting up for you on game day, which is crazy. You have a 68 overall left tackle with a 65 overall center who is a sophomore. Oh, man. This roster is tough, man. Roster is tough. You have a 70 overall senior starting at your left end. And then here's your, the best player on the whole team. But, the roster is just not super talented, man. Not super talented. And it's sad when, this school is located in Texas, surrounded by so many different recruits and high-level talent. But the program just haven't been able to bring them in. You're looking at 3 seniors in your corner room. Your top 3 guys are all seniors, and after that, all juniors. So, yeah, you'll definitely struggle to turn this roster around. And it'll take probably, I'll say 6-7 years, man, to turn this roster around. If you know what you're doing, maybe get it done in 4. But definitely will be a tough rebuild. On to the next one. Next, let's go to Louisiana and the Sun Belt Conference to talk about UL Monroe, man. I think this is a team that a lot of people just probably don't even know about. Probably have never seen a game, football game or any sport from this school. Very underrated school. Like I said, they're located in Monroe in Louisiana, and there's so many other Louisiana colleges that's around that I think just take up the glory. You got LSU, Tulane, and then you also got the Raising Cajuns, and then you got some other programs as well, Southern. And this school just get overlooked. They got one of the worst overalls in the whole game. We're looking at 71 overall, 73 overall offense, 71 overall on the defense, 1.5 star roster, man. And this is a team in their 37 seasons, they have 149 wins to 277 losses. Not great. Not great. Their last winning season was back in 2012, and during COVID, they went 0-10 during 2020. So roster is far away. This past year they went 2-10, and this is a tough rebuild, man. This is a tough rebuild. You do have a lot of talent in the area. You're located in Louisiana, but can you compete with some of the big dogs? Like, can you compete with LSU? No. As far as like winning recruitments, you just can't compete with LSU. You could compete with Tulane, but probably not. And so you're probably just winning the smaller schools, FBS schools located in Louisiana. So it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. I think this would be a fun rebuild, but I think this definitely would be difficult. That's why it's number 3 on my list. Once again, let's count the winning seasons over the past 20 years, man. So our first winning season is 2012, and then that's going to be our last winning season. To be fair, you do have some even seasons, 6 and 6s, a couple of them, but where you did make a bowl game, but just certainly not ideal, man. The team actually only played in 1 bowl game in school history, and they lost. So yeah, 1 bowl game in school history, and they lost it. So take that information how you want. You could bring the first ever bowl win to this university. And I feel like that'd probably be something special, man. That'd probably be something special. Your goal is to win 4 games. I feel like that's kind of the goal for all the lower programs. But let's look at their roster. All right, so let's take a look at their roster, man. They do have an 85 overall, which is a junior left guard. Then they have also their top player is this Hunter Smith, halfback, who also is a junior. But 71 overall, like we said earlier. And quarterback room, okay, they got 2 juniors, same overall, but definitely need to bring some more talent in this room. This freshman will take over the program, it looks like. And the running back room is solid, 2 78s and then a 77, and then outside of that is kind of where you get into Yeah, 75 overall star receiver for this team at least, and then outside of that, talent really drops off. You'll have a 59, suiting up for you on game day, which is not ideal. Your tight end room is absolutely brutal. A 64 overall. If you look at his not adjusted rating in the top right corner, 64 overall, man, as a junior tight end. Then your backup is a 57. You definitely in some trouble. You have a 61 overall left tackle. Imagine this school going up against a Georgia, man, or, even the LSU right down the road. You definitely will be in some trouble. Definitely will be in some trouble. You got 62 overall left end. O-line overall didn't look too terrible just because you got the 85, then you got the 78, and then even your backup center is okay. So, O-line didn't look too terrible. Might be the strong suit of the team. But, and then D-line, not much there. And linebacker room, common theme is a lot of these rosters are filled with seniors, man. A lot of these rosters are filled with seniors. And it's just not ideal, man. Not ideal. So, overall, roster is oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness, 57 overall strong safety, man. Oh my goodness. That's brutal. That is brutal. You will have to start, either this guy or your cornerback as strong safety. No way you go into the season and all your strong safeties are in the 50s. That is ridiculous. That is crazy. On to the next one. And next, let's go to the MAC and talk about Ball State, man. Ball State is another 71 overall roster. They're one star, though. So I would say they're worse than UL Monroe, man. I would say this is a worse rebuild, harder rebuild than UL Monroe. And like I said, one star with the 71 overall is not ideal. They're located in Indiana, so not as many talented recruits in that area, just being honest with you, man. But this is a team that do not come from all bad history, man. Their overall record is not terrible. They're only about 14 games under when you look at their 49 years of existence. Past year, they went 4-8, and they actually had, some okay years, 10-3 back in 2014, but and then even during COVID 2020, they went 7-1. So this is a team, and then they was also ranked during that year. They was ranked 23 at one point. So this is not a team that comes from all bad history, but I think it definitely would be a tough rebuild because where the roster is at currently, and then also the location of where the team is at. But let's get into their roster, man. Let's take a peek at their roster. And before we look at their roster, if y'all made it this far in the video, drop a like, man. Drop a subscription, man. Let me know if y'all enjoying the content so far. I appreciate y'all for watching. But let's look at their last 20 years of service. So, and count their wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's solid, man. That's solid. Some okay years. Like I said, 12-2, 10-3, 9-4, and then even, this year right here, 7-1, where they won the they won the MAC. This was during COVID, so a little bit weird time, but some solid years, man. I can't be mad at them at all. So let's take a peek at Ball State roster, man. So here, let's say they have 77 overall, and then their offense has also went down from a 73 to 71. I don't know why it's so different from when you look at the rosters to when you actually get into the dynasty. No idea why the ratings be different, but here they're listed lower. But they do have 2 80 overalls, man, and they're both on the O-line at their guard positions, and one of them even is a sophomore. So, hey, he might even reach, the upper 80s to 90s, by his senior year. But quarterback room, you're looking at 2 solid quarterbacks, man. Both are 77 overalls, and one is a freshman, man. One is a redshirt freshman. I can't be mad at that, man. I cannot be mad at that. Quarterback room do not look too bad. Running back room is brutal. Running back room is not in a great position, man. 70 overall is your top guy with 84 speed, man. Not ideal. Not ideal. 84 speed, and he is a receiving back. not great there. And then the wide receiver room, we okay. We okay. A bunch of juniors. But you do have a 91 speed guy. But at least no 50 overalls will be suiting up for you. Then your tight end room, okay, this is solid. Tight end room is solid. You could work with this, man. You definitely could work with that. O-line is not great. True freshman starting at left tackle. Then you have, the 84 overall. Center, 70 overall senior. Then you also have the 83 overall sophomore at the other guard position. Right tackle also is not great. D line, you're looking at a 68 overall senior right end. And then D tackle is also not great. You only have a few on roster, which is not ideal at all. Then you're looking at outside linebacker, okay. Middle linebacker also 68 overall. Cornerback position, okay. Could be worse, could be worse. And then your safeties, at least you're not going to be starting, with a 50 overall like the last school, but definitely not. Your kicker is a 59, of course, but at some of the major positions, at least you're not starting with such a low overall position or on player. So solid rebuild. I definitely think this will be a fun rebuild, but definitely will be difficult. On to the next one. Next, let's go back to Conference USA and talk about New Mexico State, the Aggies. Man, this is a team that is not had a bad record last year. They went 10-5 last season. The year before that, 7-6. But even with going 10-5, their roster overall is only a 75. So I think that kind of says how tough of a rebuild this would be. 75 across the board, and then they're also listed as a one-star school, man. And the reason I think this rebuild will be so tough is just the location of the university, man. You're in New Mexico, not much talent in the area. You're going to have to convince people to come to your school. And then this school do not have a great history, man. And there are 90 years of playing college football. Their record is 336 wins to 611 losses. Not that great. In bowl games, they are 4-1-1. We'll take that. We'll take that for bowl games. But overall record is not great. They have, like I said, have had some success over the past years. But when you look at the whole, that whole last 20 years, not great. Not great at all. But let's look at their roster, man. So like we did for every other school, let's count their wins over the past 20 seasons. You're looking at 0-12. Then you're looking at 7-6. And then 7-6 again. And 10-5 last season. So you're looking at 3 wins over the past 19 to 20 years. Not great, not great. Let's look at their roster. So New Mexico State roster, man, 75s across the board. But roster is not terrible. Not like some of the other schools. This roster is more comparable to Vanderbilt. But you're looking at an 87 overall senior. And he's a center. We'll take that, though. 87 overall. You also have another 80 overall running back. But let's go position by position. Quarterback, you're looking at a senior. And then a sophomore who is slow as dirt behind him. Running back room is okay. Your top guy is solid. Other than that, you're looking at low 70s. No fullback on the roster. Not many teams have a fullback in this game. Wide receiver room, not great, man. Just not great. Your top guy, 86 speed. And then you have another 86 speed, 65 overall receiver coming out your slot. But one thing I will say, they do have a lot of sophomores, so we'll take wins when we can. You got a 69 overall tight end with 73 speed. Not great at all. Not great. O-line is not bad, I feel like, man. Just looking at the whole O-line, this is not bad. 79, 87, then a 75. And then a 76. Not terrible on the O-line, man. We definitely seen worse this video. And then 75 on the D-line. 68 at right end. D tackle. 72 overall senior. Let's keep looking. And your cornerback room is okay. The cornerback room not too bad. The safety's okay. Your backup safety is a 56 overall, not great. But I feel like this roster not that bad, man. Roster is certainly not that bad. What's going to make this rebuild tough and the number one school for me as far as being difficult is because where you're at. Like I said, just being located there. I didn't want to put Hawaii on this list. I know Hawaii is also located in a real tough spot, but they was on my last list. So we'll go with New Mexico and just the lack of talent in that area. And one thing I like to do when I'm recruiting, say I'm using Monroe, I would just search by Louisiana talent and just try to go after some of the guys there. And New Mexico is probably not going to be many people on that list, man. Not many people on that list at all. So it is what it is. This is my toughest rebuild. And y'all let me know in the comments, man, who should be on the list, who y'all agree with. Let me know how y'all feel about the list. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, all that, man. Appreciate y'all for watching. Check out my temple rebuild, man. We live.